Welcome to Lift Your Leg. This is Monique Anstey from The Naughty Dog in Victoria, BC, author of As a Dog Thinketh.
And Jill Brown from Calgary, Alberta, the bag lady.
AI now has her written as the Bad Lady, which is a very fitting title for Jill. She is bad. They're right. We tackling today a topic that I've been begging people to speak with me on for we began this podcast, and it is feel. So while this may seem like a very abstract topic, I think this is the most important topic and maybe the most important thing that's missing in dog training today. Silence already from Jill, so she agrees.
No, I was trying to get my mic to sit properly and I was concentrating on that.
I think feel has become a lost art. As I look around at many of my fellow dog trainers, I think there are very few that have feel. And that's what makes the ones that have it stand out from the others.
Agree. And I think part of that comes from people being so quick to reward with food
Yep.
that takes the place of feel and timing. If all you have to do is pop a cookie at them, you don't really have to be thinking that much about feel and timing. I guess you still need timing for the cookie, but it takes away the need to have the
Being
feel of
able,
what you're doing.
food is a crutch, like any other tool. Food is a crutch. It's a very valuable one. It's
Yeah.
one we all use, but it is still an aid.
Yeah.
And we must think of it in that way. Feel is something for myself that it's always been called feel. And it wasn't until years ago I was with Derek Fisher standing out in a sheep field, and Pippa was moving her sheep towards me at a fairly good speed. And Derek said, "Can't you feel that she just popped the sheep's bubble right there?" I'm like, "No." Okay, let's do it again. "Can you feel now that she just popped the bubble?" "No." And then I was like, "Yes, I got it. I felt it." And that was the day I realized that feel is called feel because you literally feel it. It's not something, it's something you feel.
It's a tough one because I don't think it's anything that you can teach. Even with Derek, he was like, wait for it, did you feel it there? It's something you have to experience. You have to be able to recognize it. And I think that's the big thing is there's probably a lot of people that have felt it before, they just haven't recognized it.
I think you have to have the ability to. I've described it before as there are certain kids that grow up in households where they have to learn to read a room. And they may have to learn this because their parents have gotten divorced, mental health, a sick parent, a sick sibling, alcoholism. Like there's a whole bunch of reasons that a kid may be forced to learn how to read a room as
Yeah.
they're growing up. Whatever that reason, if you have learned that skill, you have it. It's in you. And then to transfer it to dogs is just someone guiding you in the process. But you have to have that ability. And I have worked with adults who are in professions that also require that they have to be able to read a room. Police is an obvious first example. They need to know going into a domestic or something like that,
Yeah.
what they're walking into. So there are careers that can create this, but it's something we've had to experience in our own lives, probably with humans first. And if you've experienced it with people, you're able to then apply it to dogs. But I also work with a whole lot of people who are clueless with people and couldn't read a room if they saved their life. They'd get in a whole lot of trouble if their career depended on that. So it's for the people that do not have it, I do not believe they can learn it. Now, I think there are reasons that they don't have it. And maybe if they altered some of those reasons, they might be able to learn it. But until they can start seeing it with people, it ain't gonna happen with dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, you need to be able to recognize it when it happens. In my mind, it's really no different than when you're a kid and you come home from school and your mom's had a really bad day.
Yeah,
And you walk in and you're like, uh oh, I'd better go clean my room.
yeah.
You can just feel that in the air. You can feel tension. I don't think it's any different than that. It's not really different. You're just reading different emotions at different times. You might be reading tension in your dogs. You might be reading joy. You might be reading recognition.
But I think we learn it from the negative place of learning to avoid.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then once we've learned that, then we can learn it from the good places.
Yeah,
But I think it does start from a place of avoidance of, oh, not going in the kitchen right now. I'm going to play in the garden for
yeah.
6 hours.
It's funny because when you look at it that way, a lot of dogs have learned to read the room long before people have. Like you walk
Mhm.
in the front door and you see the poop or the pee at the front door, and you haven't said a word, but you look over and your dog's sorry, sitting in the corner like I oops.
Could you
They can,
teach Mo Chihuahua that?
again, I'm not even going to go there. Ah,
Oh,
it would have been more fun to teach Mo Chihuahua to ride the robot.
I agree. Jill and I have a summer quest. Mo is going to learn to sit on the robot vacuum and then do bumper cars as it bounces around the room. Be
You're gonna,
most fun.
you're gonna have to get another one.
Yeah, true.
Then they could really do bumper cars.
It was years ago. I was teaching a group class, and we're going to leave all details from this group class so that people remain
So
fully
no,
anonymous.
so no,
But there was a client in there with a dog that she did not have a good relationship with this dog and was quite unfair to her dog. And as she was unfair, I could feel him. He did not shut down. He would wind up and get all frantic and fighty with her. And then because he was fighting with her, arguing against her, she would get heavier with him. Anyhow, I could feel all of this. And honestly, I was such a bitch teaching that group class because I could feel his angst. It was just winding me up. Like it was awful. I could feel what he was feeling in his head. It was not a good experience. And I ended up canceling the entire class just because I couldn't do it anymore.
now you've just told everybody which class that was.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Everyone who was in there was like, hey.
I've cancelled more than one class, so we're safe.
Okay, good.
Thanks for pointing that out, though. Thanks for covering me, Jill. I'll drink to that. So, yeah, feel can be a real problem if you have it and you're feeling bad stuff from the dog. Like, it can make me like really tense and difficult. Sorry, I'm going to admit it because I can feel what the dog needs and what he's not getting. And I can feel the turmoil. So it makes me super intense as an instructor and not the best coach, especially for beginners, because I'm feeling that angst coming from dogs. So that's my apology to any future clients. Sorry, guys. The good news is I'm looking out for your dog, number one.
That's true, and
And
that's what you're supposed to be doing.
after that heated moment, I'll be able to put it all into words for you. You just have to bear through that minute because I'm feeling your dog's grief. Like it's really hard, really hard. And I'm wondering if that's why a lot of the super coaches, like some of the best people I've worked with, are super intense when things go downhill. Sylvia Bishop being one of them.
Yeah,
I'm not going to name other people. Sylvia's retired, so I'm allowed to say her name. At least I'm assuming she's retired, so I can say her name. Other people, I'm going to leave their names out of it because that's unfair to say it right now. But I'm wondering if they are that way because they too are feeling it. They're feeling that angst and worry and panic in the dog. And it's really hard to take that on.
that's creating huge anxiety in you.
Yeah.
when a dog's going through that, and you know how to fix it and you know how to stop it.
But their poor people don't in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
But they need to fix it now.
They need to fix it yesterday.
Oh dear. So I think when we're first starting with feel, we see it as body language. Like we're seeing the stills of looking at a photo, seeing these dogs' sad faces. Oh, and I love our podcast of body language because some of my clients were telling me the other day, I've ruined it for them looking on Facebook on a Monday, Sunday night, looking at everyone's photos of, we won this on the weekend. And now they're looking at the dogs' faces in addition to the people and seeing how miserable the dogs are. They said, I've ruined it for them.
That's funny. The people all look so happy,
The people are happy and the
but the
dogs look
dogs
like
are
they want to
miserable.
jump off a bridge.
Now, we have to cut some dogs some slack because there are some dogs out there that the camera just sucks the life out of them.
Pippa's that dog.
Yeah, Prada doesn't really love having her picture taken either.
And Rupert on a super happy day still looks like Eeyore. His ears just make him do
Oh my
that.
goodness. So there are some of them, but I still think that you can work to get a little bit of emotion out of your dog before you post that horrific photo.
I know. As I'm sitting here talking to you, on the other side of my window outside is Kate, who's mostly blind and deaf, staring at me through the window. So I guess she's not as deaf as I keep giving her credit.
Or she just knows where to go to get let in.
But she's never come to this spot of the window before. She normally goes to a different spot. Unless it's Pippa and I'm too blind to realize it's a different border collie.
I
I'm going to
think
have
it's
to look.
I think it's just Kate, and she's not really deaf like I've been telling you for 2 years.
It's Kate. Hi,
Yeah.
Kate. Stay out there because I'm busy. All right. The other thing I've always found remarkable is that I have some random people come in with their pet dog that they rescued from somewhere. It's their first ever dog. Here we are. Help us, please. Oh, he bites us over this and he bites us over that. And then you're working with them and they're like, oh, when he goes still like that for a quarter of a second and then flicks his eye to the right and twitches his left whisker, he's going to bite us. And I look at them like, where on earth did you learn to read dogs this way? And then I think it's the same as us with a parent that was grumpy, so we learned to go in the garden and play.
Yeah.
They've just learned from their dog that when he does this, it isn't going to be a good result, so you
Yeah.
best just make him happy.
Like you said, you pick up on the negative things
Yep,
first off. Yeah.
yep, but only some people can. Because I've known other dog trainers who are absolutely clueless, and despite the dogs giving them their very best signals, just bulldoze ahead and get bitten.
Yeah.
And once again, if you have that little feel, nothing's going to change. Pick the right dogs that you work with. You are not destined to be working with more finicky dogs that require feel.
Yeah.
Stick with your Rottweilers, your Pit Bulls, your German Shepherds, and just,
Ones that are very obvious in what they're thinking.
yes, yes.
Although you look at the Rottweilers that are snarling and growling and they're really not meaning anything by it.
But at least they're snarling and growling. They're not skipping that step. They're not like happy, freeze, flick my whisker, nail ya.
No, but these ones that you see now that are growling while they're nose to nose with their owner because that's just the way that they are. They're not being nasty at all. Rottweilers
Oh,
are a weird breed with
they like to talk.
their verbal communication. Yeah.
They like to talk. And early, very early in my career, we're going to leave names completely out of this. So if you're listening, hi, you know who you are. I'm not saying a word. I was working with a young male Rottweiler, intact, cool dog, very cool dog. We were working with resource guarding. And I was doing the old type of protocol where you give him a cookie here, give him a cookie there, give him a cookie here. And everything was going great until I crossed over his threshold. And then he literally threw me across a room and pinned me against the wall. And he was so nice to me. He just bit the tip of my pinky finger. But this dog literally threw me like 15, 20 feet and had me against a wall and barely dented my pinky fingernail. However, he left a lifetime impression in me, and I won't work with male Rottweilers now, not if they have any aggression, because I have a respect for them that is much too healthy to be able to rehab them if they've gone wrong.
You probably have a little bit of PTSD when it comes to that, and
I have a little bit of fear
yeah,
in there in the back of my mind,
yeah,
which means that I am not the person to be able to help them. I can't do it.
yeah. There's
Female
just a
rotties
couple
I'm
that,
fine with, but the males I can't. If there's any threat to me, because I'm just gonna be like, yeah, okay, you can have the cookie.
yeah,
I'm older now. I can't be thrown across a room.
yep, exactly.
And I like my pinky nail. And what if they escalate and take more than my pinky nail? Hang on. Oh, it was a good moment for a sip of wine.
You have learned your boundaries.
With Rottweilers, yes, absolutely.
Yep,
Rottweiler males, I'm very
yep,
respectful.
yep.
If they can pick me up and throw me, I'm not a good worker to be working with them. I pass them on.
Yep.
Mia Stokowski gets all of those dogs. She's super with them.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's also super nice if where you live, there's another person who is good with the type of dog that you aren't good with.
Yep,
So I'm super with fearful weirdos. If they're weird and no one knows what's going on in their heads, or if they're fearful, terrified of their own shadow, I'm your trainer.
yep.
If they're more of pig headed, the big strong guys like that, Mia, please phone Mia Stokowski. She's your trainer. She can help you with this dog.
It's good to have a backup.
It is. The other category of people, I've said like people that have no feel and just bulldoze ahead and end up getting bitten.
Yep.
But there's another category of people, and I'm uncertain about these. I have my theories, but they all remain unproven right now. It's the people who are able to see it, and at least I think they're seeing it, but then are completely unable to control their own response to what they see. So rather than being able to lead the dog in a direction, they take the dog's lead and follow.
Give me more there.
I have to be careful not to say any names here, but the dog gets energetic. They feel the dog get energetic and they get energetic with it when
Okay.
maybe they should be getting calmer.
Okay.
The dog gets calm and they turn into donkeys beside the dog rather than maybe getting more energetic to increase the dog.
Okay. They're just
They
kind of following the
they
dog's lead.
follow the dog's lead, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Dog wants to fight them, they'll rise to the occasion and fight back. Dog's passive and rolling over, and then they just slump their shoulders like, I don't know what to do with him. That kind of person.
These are the kind of people that have feel, they can recognize it,
Yes. But a
but they don't know what to do with it.
yes.
And
And
I think that's the case with a lot of people. I would say that was the case with me with Sizzle when she was young,
okay.
because I would see the weird stuff that she was doing. I knew what was going on. I had no idea how to deal with it. So if she got weird and scared, I would get squishy. If she turned
Or
into a,
angry with me. That worked too.
yes, I would get angry with you. Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, if she got scared about something, I got scared because she was scared and I didn't know what was going to happen in that situation.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are like that until,
So did knowledge pull you through it?
yes, absolutely. Knowledge
So
and seeing changes.
I have a theory because some of the people I'm helping them, but I'm not seeing them change over the years. And they should be changing over the years. They're just remaining passengers rather than taking charge.
I think then that they are not seeing the change in their dogs. Whether it's happening or not, they're not seeing it. Because
So they're not seeing it, but they're responding to it.
I could have listened to your theories for hours on end about Sizzle, and I wouldn't have believed them until I saw a change.
Okay. I have wondered, are some people energy followers and not energy leaders without
Absolutely.
maybe realizing that they are that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And can you teach that person?
I think that'll depend on the person. Some people, 100%. They're all for change. They're all for improvement. show me what I need to do and I can follow the steps. Other people just aren't built that way.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I do think that a very valuable part in learning all of this is distraction free thinking. And I think in society now, that is a rarity. To be able to pull the phone out of young people's hands, to actually get them to be present on a walk with their dog where their phone is gone
Yeah.
and they're silent and just in their heads rather than listening to something like my podcast. Our podcast, sorry.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah,
Done.
way to go. Sorry, Jill.
I was going to say, if you take that to the next step with the distraction free stuff, it's also, I feel, really important in a dog with severe issues that you learn to read this in a distraction free environment rather than always doing this where there's stuff going on that
Yep.
the dog is going to react to. You need to learn to read that dog in quiet, normal environments
Yep.
before you take them out. Not even before, but you need to be able to read them in all of those environments.
And learn to be in control of yourself. Stop being such a follower.
Yeah.
Now, as I say that, we all feel bad for them, but following their energy ain't helping them any.
Well, that's the big thing that people need to realize. Yes, a lot of rescue dogs had a shit life to begin with. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them had a wonderful life to begin with, but they just had a whacked out temperament.
Yeah.
But if you keep dwelling on what could have potentially been in their past, you're not helping them. You're not getting anywhere. You're not going to improve anything.
Is it even that, though? I honestly think it's that people are constantly distracted. They're in a conversation with their people and they forget to train their dog while they're doing it. They're listening to something. They're on a phone conversation. They're texting someone. They're just not present in that moment anymore. There's a big difference between sitting on a horse and riding a horse. And I'm going to say the same for walking a dog.
I
You
agree.
can you can go on a walk with a leash and actually walk your dog. They're two very different things.
One of my pet peeves, especially with old dogs, is to see people out walking an old dog that's walking at the end of a leash or a flexi, 15, 20 feet behind them, and they're just plodding along. It breaks my heart because I'm like, this old dog is just being dragged out to move its legs, but there's no connection there.
I felt your angst with this in Port Alice.
Yeah.
There's a sweet dog there that has aged recently, and every day he goes on his walk, and his owner's just clueless to his pain behind her.
Yeah.
She's just motoring ahead like a good person.
It breaks my
We've all
heart.
been there. We've all done it at some point, and it's, oh no, how could I do that?
Yeah.
She
So
just
now,
hasn't realized it yet.
yeah. So if you're one of those, think about it now.
Yeah.
Feel Get it through your head that you're taking your old grandmother out for a stroll. You would never leave her 15 feet behind you while you motored on ahead.
I might, but that's why I have 6 dogs. Just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that you're right. It's got a lot to do with society today and everything at your fingertips and everybody being so distracted. But I think there's a whole list of reasons.
So, one of the things I'm seeing in some of the dog trainers locally who I believe do not possess feel is, I want to say, a fear of dogs. And they're masking that fear by all this ridiculous micromanaging control that they're putting on these dogs. So, they're getting dogs with bite histories and then controlling their every breath. And
Yep.
I think that's coming from a lack of feel and a slight bit of fear. And I keep thinking, if I was taking male Rottweilers as clients with bite histories, that's how I'd be dealing with those dogs because I don't have the confidence to be able to give them the freedom they need to have.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing these people doing with all of these dogs because they can't read them. So these dogs remain a little bit of a mystery. Therefore, Don't let them have a single thought without you putting yourself into that thought.
Yeah, everything is being micromanaged because the thought is if you can control every thought that the dog is having, nothing will ever go bad.
Only will it ever go bad?
Oh, absolutely. If you don't allow the dog that opportunity to think and make the right decision, when
He
they
may be better 90% of the time, but that 10% is going to be way worse.
when they make the wrong decision, it's going to be huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me with the training that I'm seeing with all this micromanaging.
And because there's such a small amount of history and education behind so many of the trainers now, like anybody can hang up a tile and be a dog trainer. They're just going with what they're seeing in the control aspect, which is the place. And
Walk behind me, show
yes,
no joy.
so that's all they're seeing. And the thought is that if they do that, it's going to fix the problem. And
It ain't. You've just
so
made that dog sad and give up its will in that moment.
you've also turned them into a bit of a spring that you're just tightening and tightening and
Yes.
tightening and tightening. And when they
Yes.
have the opportunity to let loose, they're going to let loose.
It's a very temporary fix that we know will not hold once our dog goes home and gets happy again in his environment.
Yeah.
He's only so shut down that he's going to mind his manners and behave because he hates his life. But once he goes back home and he's happy again, nothing will have changed and it might be worse.
It's funny. It just made me think that a lot of the times when the dogs come to you for board and train, they actually have more freedom and
Yes,
more. I'm not going to say that your place is better than home because maybe sometimes it is, maybe it isn't, but they have more
it's
freedom.
not.
They have more joy. So when the dog gets home, they're not going from a place where they've been controlled and had the life sucked out of them to going home where they can let loose a little bit more.
Yeah, no, it's the opposite.
Exactly. They've come to you where they can let loose and they can be taught when they're in that high drive, excited frame of mind. And then when they go home where things are less exciting than they are when they're with you, it's easier for the people to manage them.
Yeah. If we're looking at my board and train for today, she had a 6 kilometer bike ride off leash this morning with Harry for part of it, where she just ran, slammed my bike with sticks, really tree limbs, then got in trouble for it. And she was free for her hour that she did her 6 kilometers in. Then she had her breakfast and a break. Then we had a short training session in a sports field where we worked on down. Then she came home and was free outside. Then she had mandatory nap time for a little bit, then was free outside. Then I worked on her down under high drive. So I was throwing a toy left, call her to me, out, throw a toy, call her to me, out, throw a toy left, call her to me, out, throw a toy, let her almost get there, and 6 feet before she arrived, yelled down. So we did that. Then she had a nap after that to think about it. Then we went to growl class tonight where she was on about a 10-foot leash and she did an hour worth of residential neighborhoods going past dogs on 10 feet of leash.
And now she's wishing she could sleep for 3 days.
Exactly. Now she's had her dinner and she's been put to bed. But that's been her day. So she had all her needs met. She got her physical needs met first thing in the morning, that desire to actually be a dog, just be free and do what German Shepherds want to do. And then later, I got to put in the control that I believe she needs to have so that her family can manage her much easier.
Yep.
She's such a cool dog. You'd love her, Jill.
I'd love me a German Shepherd.
You really would. A working line German Shepherd suits you
Yep.
as long as you have me there to train it for you.
Come along, Johnny.
No, you're not having my Johnny.
One day I will.
So, in all of this, Have you ever seen a person that can read dogs that cannot read people or cannot read a room? I'm going to say read a room versus people.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of people that connect more with dogs than they do with people.
But they can not read people, but they can read dogs.
Uh-huh.
Give me an example. Is that
Mm,
possible
I can't.
without identifying anyone?
No, but I think you know who I'm thinking of. I think it's quite common with people who are very comfortable with dogs. I think a lot of people that are very comfortable with dogs are not comfortable with people.
I think that's normal.
Yeah. But I think that kind of goes hand in hand. They're comfortable with dogs, they can read dogs, but they're clueless when it comes to people.
But they should still be able to read the room.
Yeah, I
Okay.
I don't think that's
That's not a requirement
no,
in your head.
I don't think so. No.
I'm thinking about it, which is my silence. So, how does that skill get learned if they've never learned to read a room? Do you know? What's
I
your
don't
theory on that?
I don't think it ever does. Unless somebody is completely black and white up front with them. But even then, I think it's still I think reading a room is something that I think it's a learned behavior,
Hmm,
but
okay.
maybe there's a certain amount of time that you have in your growing up years that you learn to do that. I don't know.
So, that's just one of the ways to get there. It's not the way to get there.
Yeah. No, I can think of a number of people that are really good with dogs and
Oh, I can think of one that is in your neighborhood.
that are just yeah,
But the person I'm thinking of in your neighborhood, can she read dogs? Or is she just a really good trainer?
I don't know. I'm not sure who you're thinking of.
Okay. And we're certainly not saying names.
Exactly. But I do, I think that's I don't know how to put it into words. I want to say it's similar to an autistic trait where you have the ability to read a dog, but you don't have the ability to read a room or people.
Okay.
I think that's just,
And has that come up from a childhood with a dog that bit you?
I don't think it would have to be that.
Okay.
I think it's just a trait.
Okay.
I think you have the ability to read people's emotions or you don't, and you have the ability to read dogs' emotions or you don't. I'm not sure that they go hand in hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does a person enhance their feel? I think I want to answer this in places, at least start it. It's thinking about your training sessions or your walks or your encounters with dogs after the fact. It's that silent thinking on
Yep.
your own. Is that 80% of it should be mental and 20% doing. So you need to take that time afterwards to debate it in your head of what did I see? Did I read this right? What are other ways I could have handled it? Or did I handle it the perfect way?
And even to do that, you need a sounding board
Yes,
because if you don't have any feel and you go through all of those steps, you might be completely off base. It's really good to have someone, like you said, like Derek, saying
did you
basically,
feel it?
yeah. And if you had someone that you could go on that walk with, and then later as you're reflecting, you could text them and say, hey, when this happened, should I have done this or should I have recognized this? It's really a benefit to have another person who has either different or more knowledge than you do.
Absolutely. And I do believe no matter your experience level, everybody needs a second eye.
Yes.
I need to be able to ask Jill and Sheila, what does he look like when I'm not looking at him?
Yeah.
Is he focused? Is he intense? Does he look like he's in full drive? Because I can't look at him. They have to be able to tell me that about my own dog.
Yeah. Or is he faking it?
Is he faking it?
Is he going through the motions without really having the emotional connection there?
Yep. Would I be happy with this if I could see this picture? Does it feel right to you or does it feel wrong?
And
And they
maybe
have to be able to share all of that with me. And then I can then readapt. And full credit goes to Sheila here. She's so honest. And I love that about her. She's so honest. There's no apology, nothing.
because she's not scared of you.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, you're not going to be happy with this if you see it. His tail's down, you're not going to this picture. And I'm so grateful for her honesty with me. There's no sugarcoating or it's just raw truth. And I want to hear it from her. I don't need to hear it from the judge.
That's the only way you're going to get what you want out of your dog. Yeah, it's going to make you feel great while you're training if somebody's there telling you how amazing your dog looks, but it's
Oh, but it will crush you on trial day.
I was going to say
Crush you.
it's going to be exponentially disappointing when you realize on trial day that wasn't what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I'm very grateful for Sheila every day
Yeah.
that she tells me, yeah, that was shitty. You won't like it. Thank you.
Another set of eyes, and if you don't have another set of eyes, you need mirrors or you need to set up your video camera so you can see it yourself.
I think even mirrors aren't necessarily honest. And I
Well,
think video camera dilutes it a little bit. It always looks better on a video camera.
does it, or are we just our own worst enemy, our own worst critic?
No, it actually looks better. Because
Well,
I can see a performance in real life and think, ew. They're looking at camera like, oh, I was so overly harsh.
yeah, maybe you were just overly harsh because you can be,
Or maybe camera dilutes it. I'm
or
going with camera
well,
dilutes.
maybe you're overly harsh.
I think camera dilutes unless you're looking at it on a big screen. Your phone ain't going to show you the truth, neither is your laptop. But if you're looking on a proper television, then you'll see what really happened. Because I've looked at my performances on a phone, I'm like, oh, he was so much better than he felt.
Yeah, but
Then I
maybe
look
it
at it on the
was.
big TV and I'm like, oh, no, he wasn't.
Oh, I don't know. I've been disappointed and had people say, "What are you talking about?" And then looked at it and been like, "Oh, you're right. I was being overly critical on that one."
Did you look at it on your iPhone when you said that?
Yes, but
Exactly, my point.
no, but I had other people that were saying, "You need not be unhappy about that." So
Were
it
these
wasn't just
people
me.
you respect and trust?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yeah. Sometimes we can be our own worst critic for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will concede to that fact. Am I allowed to make a confession right now? I had a
Sure.
little starling that flew into my door full speed and was stunned outside the door. I carefully picked it up and put it on top of the barbecue before Harry killed it. Only it was already dead, so it's still on top of the barbecue, and I'm looking at it now while I speak to you.
You won't be there long with all your cats.
It's been there a few days. It's time to remove it from the barbecue, I can say that much.
God, just give it to Harry.
Oh, don't be awful. Deserves a burial.
Oh,
Jill
oh,
Brown.
okay. I want that on video. I want to see you digging a hole and burying a starling. It's probably Johnny's favorite starling, too.
No, he loves sparrows, not starlings.
No, it's not sparrows.
It is sparrows he loves.
It is not.
It is, you crazy lady.
It
Drink more
is.
wine.
No, it isn't. But it's not starlings either. It's
Sparrows. It's house
no,
sparrows.
it isn't.
I'll send you a photo of a swallows. You're right.
Swallows. That's it. Yes.
How could we get that name wrong?
Oh, really?
S-
Really? Who needs another glass of wine?
oh dear.
Oh.
Back on topic, Jill.
Yep. Oh boy.
Johnny's favorite bird is a swallow. It's an
Yes.
unfortunate name for a bird.
Is that what's on your barbecue or is it a starling?
Starling is on my barbecue. The swallows have safely flown south.
Really?
Yeah,
They leave for the winter? Oh,
they do.
poor Johnny.
I know. Makes spring very exciting for him.
I guess it would.
This is just rude now. Okay, let's move back to our topic. Or are we done our topic?
Do you have anything else to add to it?
I don't think so. Thank you, everyone, for listening with us. I think this is a very important conversation and one that needs to keep being had because feel is a very, very lost topic. And I think dog training as we know it is lost without this. We will never be the trainers we want to be unless we start discussing this and talking about it and slugging through the difficult conversation about something that we've never been able to put into words.
I think people need to really search for it. Don't just go through the motions of training your dog. Really try to find that feel with your dog.
Yep. And I can think of some dog trainers in my sport as we discuss this that have it. It's not yet on tap and fluid. So they're having to down their dog in between exercises and think about it and talk about it and then get their dog up again and work. And while this habit is very unfortunate, and they should be having short sessions, put their dog in the car,
Yeah.
work it out, fix it, bring the dog back out for a second session.
Yeah.
Their learning process is correct by how they're going at it, but the training of the dog is wrong because they're letting their dog go completely out of drive and feel sad about the moment rather than keeping that momentum going
Yeah.
where they could if they just put it in the car. So
I think
depending at where you're at in your journey, like short sessions are a really good thing. Unless you have
yes.
a completely wound dog that needs to be worked for 20 minutes at a time, which very few people have, though.
Yeah.
Most people have dogs that go down in energy or start to doubt their skill. So keep sessions short. Put your dog in your car, discuss it. And then the thing my husband got on me for this week for this was have that discussion, but make sure that discussion is away from your dog. Because otherwise, he's hearing my disappointment, my tone of voice,
Yeah.
me giving Sheila shit. Sorry, Sheila. He's hearing all of that. And all he's going to hear is that he did it wrong. And Harry is a very guidable, sensitive dog.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be hearing that. So, husband said, make sure Harry is in the car. The car is locked up. Walk away from the car and then have discussion and give Sheila shit.
And I
He
think
didn't quite say that part, but I'm adding that.
part of it, I think, comes down to us just being a little bit lazy.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
when you go out to train, it's different when I'm with you just because of where we tend to train. It's
Yeah.
easy to put them in your vehicles.
Yeah.
But a lot of time where I go out training, you're a distance away from your vehicle.
Yeah.
So you carry all of your stuff over and you work your dog, and then they're in a settle or a, I'm not going to say place because that's,
Settle. That
we'll
settle's perfect.
put them in a settle. But again, then they're there when you're discussing what you're happy with, what you're unhappy with. And they're also out for the entire time that you're training, which doesn't keep your dog in
Drive.
a state of drive. If you put them away, all you have to do is give them a minute or two in the vehicle and bring them out again. And the majority of them are like,
Yahoo!
if they're a dog that wants to work, they're going to come out going, yes, I get another opportunity, let's go. So to keep them out there the whole time, that's asking a lot for your dog. That's like going to a trial without a crate or without your vehicle where you can crate out of your vehicle, arriving an hour early and having your dog with you on a settle next to you
Yep, for the whole day.
for the whole day, and then wondering why when you step in the ring, the dog's, ugh, can't do this.
Absolutely.
That's probably one of my biggest recommendations for a novice handler is don't bring your dog into the building without a crate. Either leave them in the vehicle, bring them in, wander around, leave them in the vehicle until you're getting ready to go in the ring. Don't let them hang with you for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on when your class is.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So important. All right, we're going to call it on this one. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. Please do share this with your friends if you enjoy listening to us.
Follow, share.
Thank you.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.